I think it's also very important about educating our buyers as well. So not just about the property, but about key things that affect you, i.e. rental, for example, which I think a lot of questions basically. I mean, the key questions I always get are these three things. Basically, if I had $1 for every time I get asked these three questions, I think I can basically buy my own Aura property already. So then the first question is, where would I get the financing? Then number two is, who would help me with my financing, but i.e. the rental? And then three, with all this money that I make, how do I save my money on, avoid taxes legally, basically? So these are all the key things that's why we believe it's important to not just sell you a property, but also to sell you the ecosystem that comes around this property to ensure that your property is well looked after from the start to the end. So I get the more interesting portion of it. I always get the more interesting portion, sandwiched between Andrew and Albert, basically. So I get to talk about the fun stuff about the property. So the property that we're actually very pleased to share with you this year is actually Melbourne Square Stage 3 Aura. So it's actually this building over here. This is the building, Stage 3, and Stage 2 is Boulevard, which we also had the pleasure of helping OSK market back in 2023, and even earlier, 2017, I was part of the team that helped to market Melbourne Square Stage 1 as well. So without further ado, I will just continue with this little expression of interest talk that I have. So first of all, Melbourne Square, where is it located? So it's actually located in South Bank, basically. So where is South Bank, I hear you say, basically. So we're going to go straight there now. So located in South Bank, right, Melbourne Square is located in South Bank, one of Melbourne's most prestigious riverside precincts, and it's obviously, located in this beautiful area here. This is all South Bank, and it's really a short walk to the tram 58 that gets you to CBD, and this is the Crown Casino, where a few people I know have left a few dollars over there, to their pokies machine and more. And this is the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, and not many people know about South Bank. It's actually also a very thriving business hub as well. Most people are familiar, South Bank, with the Crown Casino, but not so much the business hub as well. There's also an art precinct as well, much like, your West End in London or the Lincoln Centre in New York, basically, a very beautiful and thriving art precinct as well. And Melbourne Square is located over here. The Royal Botanical Gardens is over here as well, arguably one of the most beautiful gardens in Australia. And further beyond is the sports stadium and showground, basically. Right? So these are basically the areas where Melbourne Square is located in South Bank. So at the heart of Melbourne, South Bank combines luxury riverside residences, a dynamic business hub, a lifestyle of exceptional fine dining, world-class arts and entertainment, creating a prestigious cosmopolitan destination that embodies the pinnacle of luxury, of living and investment. So all this sounds very foo-foo, basically. But when I started the business 13 years ago, I decided that everything that I'm going to say is going to come and affect you in 2 or 3 ways, basically. And I trained a lot of people since then, basically, and the premise of me trying to do any kind of presentation is this: does it help with my rental yield? Does it potentially help with my capital growth? Can I see myself living in these areas? If anything that I present or talk about don't hit any of these 3 things, then I think I could better use my time to say something else, basically, that hit these 3 points. So each of the slides that present, I want you to think a little bit about how this affects you if you're an investor buying for your own use, or buying for investments, and potentially even for your children as well. All right? So here we go. So basically, South Bank, again, as I surrounded by iconic landmarks. You obviously have the very beautiful Crown Casino, located not far away. And again, there's good theatres. This is the very famous Nobu restaurant as well. One of my friends got married there, basically, and the waiter said, "What do you want for your wedding lunch?" And she said, "Surprise me." And then we got I think $1,000 worth of sake. I don't remember much what happened after that, but I remember it was a very good restaurant, I think. So, and again, there are very nice theatre in the area as well. And there's also the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, the Royal Botanical Gardens, and the major sporting stadiums and showground, which I'll touch on a little bit now. So, first things first, Crown Casino. It's actually Southern Hemisphere's largest casino and integrated entertainment resort precinct. It attracts over 22 million people and has employed more than 10,000 staff, and with 2,500 slot machines and 5 billion annually to Australian economy. So again, I mentioned earlier on about rental portions, right? Or the rental component, basically. 22 million people visit South Bank. Actually, South Bank, I'm not sure if you know, it's one of the most searched suburb if anybody wants to go on holiday to Melbourne, basically. the suburb of South Bank is the most researched area, basically. So again, you talk about rental, right? There's a short-term stay component, and the short-term stay, as we all know, brings a very big chunk of rental revenue to a potential landlord, basically. So in this case, when you have 22 million visitors, not everybody will stay in a hotel. Somebody will want to stay in an apartment, because it's easier for them, they can cook, you can have, late night chats as a group, and everybody can hang out together. So some people want that kind of feeling. And also some of the hotels during the peak seasons are as expensive as you think an Airbnb is, right? The hotels are even more expensive, all right? So again, 10,000 staff, also something to take note is that a lot of these staff people in the Crown Casino basically do a lot of shift work as well. So when you have a lot of shift work, right, the truth is that the transport system, like everywhere else, ends around midnight, basically. So it is not really very feasible, basically, if you live like an hour away and you finish work at 2 a.m., how are you going to go home, basically? Just taking the Grab and the cab fare. I think most of you have been. Can I have a show of hands who've been to Melbourne before, actually? Come on. Oh, yeah. So most of you have been to Melbourne. You have taken the taxis before there, right? It's a bit of a hard tag, right, basically. When you take the hard, and there's a traffic jam, and you see the meter keeps jumping very fast, and it really is very expensive to take a cab over there. So, or even take a Grab. So for that matter, it's important that you live near, basically. So if you're doing all the shift work, basically, you don't get to travel if there's no buses or trams to take you back as well. All right? So this is what I mean by looking at every slide, right, from a perspective of a rental, capital growth, and own use, basically. All right? So again, I'll talk about a major business center. Like I said, most people associate South Bank as an area where it's really just tourism, but you don't really associate with a place of business. Actually, the truth is that South Bank has emerged as Melbourne's most dynamic business areas, home to multinational offices like IBM, Microsoft, Apple, PwC, etc., and supports a workforce of 45,000 professionals. These 45,000 professionals, as an ex-auditor from KPMG, if you are one of the PwC people, late nights is a definite thing that happens to you. So most people like to live near as well to where they work, and also it's easy to get to work as well. No one wants to fight through morning traffic as well. So one tram or a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk down to your office makes it really easy for you as well. So it's actually a very strong, viable tenant pool, and not just any tenant pool, a white-collar tenant pool. People who have worked hard to get to where they are, to the station in life, and really don't want to compromise on, small dingy rooms, old apartments, basically, open the window, another wall in front. No, they don't want to do that, basically, all right? So this is the 45,000 professionals tenant pool right at your doorstep. And again, just a bit further off, I want to mention from Crown Casino is the Melbourne Convention Centre. Much like our big convention centres here like Suntec, it actually hosts 694 events annually and attracts 26 million people, resulting in 805 million of economic impact. Again, these conventions sometimes run into weeks, basically. You maybe one week to get things ready, the actual convention, you stay another week or two to do business. A lot of people don't stay in the hotels and all that. The more viable option is actually an Airbnb, because a lot of times, a lot of the condos, like Melbourne Square, for example, where they have good co-working space in the building and they have function rooms as well, it's very important that they could hold emergency meetings there as well. So that is why, this is also something to take note of as well. All right, and the Royal Botanical Gardens, as crowned as Australia's one of the most beautiful botanical gardens, basically standing side by side with the iconic, Central Park in New York, as well as the Hyde Park in Sydney. I used to live in Sydney, and I used to walk to work through Hyde Park, basically. I remember it was a very beautiful park, but when compared to the Royal Botanical Gardens, it's really no match. This is really beautiful. The flora and the vegetations over there are really incredible. My team and I all went to visit there last March as well as a team, and we explore the areas, really explore the area for a change instead of just skirting through it. And we really see a lot of very beautiful vegetations as well, and a lot of weddings were held there, and a lot of people wedding photography shots were held there, and a lot of people were just running and having family time and picnic. So again, just very quickly, this is Melbourne Square, where Aura is, and this is actually the Royal Botanical Gardens. If you're there, I urge you to make like half a day to go down there as well. And compared to Singapore, right, you go to Royal Botanical Gardens at 3 o'clock, right, confirm rest, right? But over there, the weather is very nice, it's very cooling, you could really walk and enjoy. It's like someone turned on the aircon when there's a sun in the room, it just feels like that, Yeah, so I definitely, I didn't see this gondola thing, but I'm sure you will go, maybe there's a chance you could hitch onto the gondola as well. Okay. And South Bank is not a place to sort of rest on its laurels despite having all the big things that I talked about as well. So there is a Southgate master plan. It's proposed now, 800 million Southgate master plan. Now the Southgate is on the further side of the start of the South Bank, and it's a bit neglected now, so they're going to really transform the area. And also the Green Line project, which is ongoing, and then the Melbourne Art Precinct transformation, a $1.7 billion, with a 300 million and a proposed 800 million. So still, a lot of changes are going there to improve the area, to make it more desirable for people to live, make it more desirable for people to rent, make it a place that people want to call their home, basically. So this is the $8 million master plan. They will have more, like 21-level commercial tower with world-class offices and retail, increasing that 45,000 professional pool even further, basically. Right? And again, this is that proposed-looking building, which is really nice. And then again, a commercial and the offices would possibly be here, much like Newport residences like that. Basically, there's a tagger here. He's here. If anyone from tech asking for help. So basically, this is the new. Looks very nice as well. And again, this is the Green Line project, a $300 million transformation. Some parts of it has already started and completed. A lot of public spaces, a lot of nice, flora and vegetations as well. And if you walk around, there's a lot of baskets as well and a lot of public performances. So enhancing the area. So it's nice to walk past when people are performing, and there's a crowd looking at things, and it's a very lively and very bustly area. It makes you feel very nice, and almost like you're on a holiday, basically, all right? Even though you're walking home from work or you're going to work, basically, all right? And this is the proposed kind of look, the walkway. Some parts of it has already started already and all completed as well. And then you have the $1.7 billion Melbourne Art Precinct transformation as the largest cultural infrastructure project. So this is the actual, the National Galleries of Victoria, one of the top 10 museums basically, in the area. And this Eiffel Tower looking thing is a landmark basically. And at the same time, these are the 2 new buildings that will be they're going to be added on to the existing National Galleries. And in fact, construction has already started already. And the new NGV Contemporary is going to look really stylish as well. So this is kind of this is first the Eiffel Tower looking landmark basically in South Bank. You can't miss this landmark, it's where the NGV is. And that will be the new NGV Contemporary building. And I really love this, I call this a very Guggenheim-inspired museum, basically, all right? It looks very beautiful, and I think it will be a good statement piece as well to bring the arts, in Melbourne to the forefront, basically, even further, all right? And there you go. So these are constructions of these 2 areas have already sort of started already, and I think it's about 2 years or 3 years time it should be ready. And I think we'll add on even more traffic flow to the area as well. So now, a major sports stadium and showground. So the Victoria government has also invested close to $1 billion into the infrastructure upgrades to establish Melbourne an Olympic Park as one of the best sports and entertainment precincts in the world, ensuring Australia Open goes all the way to 2046, basically. So no chance of anyone trying to wrestle that away. They're putting more money in there to make sure the stadiums are top-notch, basically, all right? Because again, here's the thing, Australia Open, Grand Prix, all of these activities, right, the AFL Open, the cricket, the Ashes, for example, these major sporting events are the one that draws a lot of people, and they increase, a lot of your rentals if they're doing short-term stay, basically, okay? Or even for people who frankly want to live around the area so they have easy access to these sporting events or events in general as well. Right? So in 2025, the 3 Melbourne stadiums were the most attended throughout the world, and they almost 8.5 million people actually attended with 400 sporting events in 2025 and 22,000 attendees per show. All right, that's a lot more than Sydney can say. These 3 stadiums. Does anybody know which are the 3 stadiums, basically? Anyone can answer except Albert, he knows the answer. So, yeah. But which are the 3 stadiums? You want to hazard a guess? The MCG, correct. Okay. Does anyone want to know what the MCG means? Yes, Melbourne Cricket Ground, basically. The second one, does anyone know which is the second stadium? This one might be a bit tricky. So it's the Rod Laver Stadium, which is the Australian Open. All the tennis courts are over there. And the last one is actually the Marvel Stadium, which is located at Docklands, basically. So these are the 3 stadiums that pull in close to 8.5 million people. And just alone, the Rod Laver Australian Open, where it was held, has actually a record-breaking of 1.2 million fans as well. So you can imagine the sheer number of people coming in, basically, and really just renting, a short-term stay, or people who want to be near to all of this action, basically, right? And hosting the world's most celebrated music legends, because we are selling to a Chinese audience. I don't know why they had to put Zhou Jielun on there as well, all right? But no, we also have, there are more than just, Jay Chou is there as well. There's also Taylor Swift, so honestly, right, any place where Taylor Swift hosts their stadium, or their concert is, right, it's a place that is, I guess, of a certain international repute, because that's where people want to go. Like Singapore, a lot of the Southeast Asian countries had to come to Singapore to a Taylor Swift concert. There's Coldplay, there's Ed Sheeran, there's Blackpink, there's BTS as well. So all of these are really just, really adding to the sort of the strength of, being so near to all of this, South Bank being so near to all of this, right? And in 2025 alone, again, Melbourne welcomed 500,000 people of live music attendees, cementing its position as the global destination for world-class entertainment. I have to say that Taylor Swift is a force of nature, basically. I've never seen a single person that can motivate so many business opportunities alone, right? So it's quite incredible. So finally, the Grand Prix, basically. So Grand Prix has been at the sort of the Albert Lake area, again, not far from South Bank. So South Bank is really the nexus of everything. Near to the sporting events, near to the museums and the theatres, near to the Grand Prix, near to the workplaces, near to CBD, near to everything basically, and next to the casino basically. All right. So bad weather, about 465,000 still attended, producing 170 million economic benefits, and it will continue to increase as well until at least 2037 basically. All right. So again, we talk about the schools. Most of the big universities, in the University of Melbourne or RMIT, is in the CBD and the beyond a little bit, and the tram, or car or the bus will take you there as well. One interesting thing to note is it's not really near here, but the new metro station is also up as well. So the new metro station will connect the first time in Melbourne University, to a train station. In its 171 years since it opened. So fun fact, it took them 171 years to get MRT in the university, basically. So, it finally happened. So for those people who want to sort of connect from CBD to the University of Melbourne, it takes one stop, basically, from the State Library, otherwise also connected via Melbourne Central. One stop is the Parkville train station, and that is where the University of Melbourne is. Yeah, 171 years. Talk about red tape. So, over here, now that concludes the portion on South Bank. How am I doing for time? I got time? Okay, good. So basically, the next chapter is the Melbourne Square that I'm very pleased to share with you as well, all right? So the next stage is called Aura. So the entire project is called Melbourne Square. Stage 1 is also called Melbourne Square. Okay, I don't know why the marketing couldn't think of another name, but it is Melbourne Square, the whole development, the 20,000 square meters of urban sanctuary, they call it, and stage 1 is Melbourne Square, stage 2 is Boulevard, and stage 3 is Aura. So stage 1 was launched in 2017, and I was very pleased to say that I'm one of the original people that came up from the Singapore office to Melbourne, and my team and I, we sold 40 units in a single weekend. It's a very good weekend, and it was completed in 2021, 1,050 units, and right now the vacancy over there is less than 1%. Okay, all of it is rented out. They have an office below that takes in a lot of tenant requests, so always there will be new inquiries that can match to the existing database. So 1,050 units, 1% vacancy, always fully rented out, from what I understand. Of course, we launched Boulevard in April 2022 in Singapore, and it actually is the best-selling project for prop next for 2023 and 2024 Boulevard. So we've done very well for them, which is why I managed to negotiate the third one, which is Aura, before everybody else. When we first got Boulevard, right, all the best facing units towards the park were gone, to be quite honest. We sold everywhere else, and of course we managed to get a good result. And then now, we managed to negotiate to put all our buyers right in front. Okay, so you really get first look now before everybody else. I told the guys over at OSK that I can sell for you Boulevard, but when Aura comes, I want to be front and center above everybody else, so that we get the first dibs on learning about this project as well. And today we're doing an EOI, and I'll tell you more about it at the end, right? So the beautiful Royal Botanical Gardens is all here. Okay, now this is where CBD is as well, and then this is Australia 108, and this is the if Boulevard was completed, this would have been Boulevard, and then it's completing in the first stage is completing in end 2026. The next stage is the first quarter of 2027. So if you do have some immediate need where you couldn't wait as long, you can always explore that with our sales consultants as well. All right. So over here, and then of course these are the museums that we talked about earlier on. The Crown Casino is over this side. So that's, and I think this is Prima Pearl as well. So these areas here, so and the freshwater place. So this to the front here. So, okay, yeah. So then this whole area is South Bank basically, and this would be where Aura is. And as you can see, here are the gardens. When we started with Boulevard, we couldn't get any sites here. We got all the sites at the other side. So now that we start, we have the views here from the start. And even the other side, right, faces a beautiful park. And I'll tell you more about it as well. All right, but this is Aura in a nutshell. Again, we talk about Southgate Shopping is going to change, the National Gallery, the Royal Botanic Gardens, the Sporting Precinct, and then the casino. So it's all around you, basically. And just very quickly, who are the developers of Melbourne Square? Or Aura for this matter. So it's actually OSK Property, which is a listed company in Malaysia, and they are the top 5 in the country doing development properties as well. So two key things to note is that first, right, there is the EPF endorsement. So their partner is EPF. So EPF is the Employee Malaysian Pension Fund, which is the equivalent of CPF. And this is the only company that they work with in Australia. So it's good to know that when your business partner is like a CPF equivalent is in Hokkien we say so very, very good here. Okay, so then also delivered by Multiplex as well, which is a top tier stage, top tier #1 construction company in all of Australia as well. So very well capitalized, very expert companies, very strong financial means as well, and has delivered numerous projects as well. All right, so Melbourne Square is a 2.8 billion master plan development. So these are the 2 key things to take note of. And again, very quickly, stage 1, the 1,050 units are over here, and then stage 2 completed already, and then stage 2 is here, 593, I think. And of course, there's Aura, I think about another 500, 600 units over there as well. And then this is Kennedy Park. So there are units, there are like studios and all of that face into these areas, into the lovely Kennedy Park. And then there are, of course, the nicer ones that face right into the Royal Botanical Gardens as well. And then this is the Dandenongs, basically, all right? And then this is a $2 million basketball court which is constructed. It's there already. Why? When I asked them, because they can, was the reply, all right? So then this will be the last stage. This will form the last stage. And of course, this is interesting to note that there's a proposed built-to-rent tower. So this proposed built-to-rent tower is actually by Gurner, and Gurner is one of the leading developers in Australia as well. And for them, right, to do this built-to-rent means it's a singular building that you cannot buy. It's just owned by a single building, and they do rental only, basically. So their rental is not going to be cheap. If you think like $700 or $800 a week is expensive, wait till you see their prices. All right, so they will make everybody look good here, basically. All right. So again, having a strong, sort of developer come in, to believe in this vision as well, to do a proposed build to rent, that's incredible. All right. And this is the sort of the building at where the retail. There are, I think, about 6 or 7 retail centers over here as well, shops rather. Okay, and the Parkside retail. And these are kind of restaurants that they hope to bring in as well at the bottom. These are not the actual restaurants, but they hope to bring in. And then again, this is actually Boulevard basically, all right? So it's literally and this is Hoff Boulevard. So to cross the street to stage 1 is only like 5 seconds, okay? And then you are at Woolworths basically. So stage 1, couple of key things. Number 1, you get this incredible double-story Woolworths supermarket. I think they open from 7 and they close around like midnight basically. So I remember one of the tenants once told me that their fridge is used as a cupboard because whatever they want to eat, they go downstairs and buy, they finish it up, they throw it away. So literally, that's how incredible it is. You have literally a supermarket below you in stage 1. Even if you're in stage 2 or stage 3, right, you just cross that road or you're diagonal. So it's really quite incredible. All right, there's also a Nido early childcare there as well. There's also Asian groceries, and also there's a Malaysian restaurant that sells really nice laksa and nasi lemak. So in case you're feeling homesick or your tenant's feeling homesick as well. So these are the kind of developments that we have. And stage 2, I believe and stage 1 also has a cafe. I believe stage 2 there'll be a cafe as well, and stage 3 will be 6 or 7 retail shops as well, hopefully also to reinforce the area as well, all right? And so here you go. These are the various layouts. Aura is over there. I'm going to jump very quickly to the plan as well. So there's a good separation from Boulevard to Aura. There's a 20 meter. The master plan actually factored for 15 meters, but they've gone above and beyond with 20. And then of course, these are the view lines that's going to come up very shortly. Okay, there you go. So for those, right, on this side, right, I believe these are all the one bedrooms and studios. They face Kennedy Park basically. And then there are those stage 2s and some even one beders plus multi-purpose room. I think they face the Royal Botanical Gardens as well, and some face the Dandenongs basically. All right. There you go. So you get the layouts here. So I believe these are the one bedders as well, and these are the 2 bedders for the lower floors. So again, you could see, so above 35, right, you clear a building in front apparently, and you could see the Victoria Harbour. Over here, you could see Kennedy Park, which is 3,750 square meters. And then this is a Port Phillip Bay. And then from here, you could see the Royal Botanical Gardens. Here's the thing to note as well. For Sydney, right, the real premium thing, right, is waterfront. Okay? For Melbourne, right, is park. Right? So the one that gathers a lot of interest is park. Because basically that's where the value is. People love the park in Melbourne basically. The water, they don't have so much nice water as opposed to Sydney, but the value really is in park as well. So be it the Kennedy Park or the Royal Botanical Gardens, you get a very good value there. Right? So some of the views. This looks very nice that you could see the Port Phillip Bay, but I need to remind you, in case anyone is taping this, there will be a building here, right? So next time, this will be gone. So come in 2035, thankfully I will be retired by then. But you say, how come the view got blocked again? It doesn't take a water view. So I tell you now, if someone's recording this building will come out. So this part, but you will always get the Kennedy Park, all right? Which is the real dollar value churner anyway, all right? Then this is the Kennedy Park, as you can see. Now, if you don't believe this picture, right, go to Google Earth and search, Melbourne Square. It looks exactly like that, okay? I've been doing this for so long, and I'm very proud to say that most times, what is in the brochure, the actually looks the same, if not better. So that's something I've always been very impressed. It is a little bit scary for a salesperson to sell something in the brochure, and I have to see it in person to take photograph for your clients. It's always a little bit nervous or nerve-wracking. So I'm glad to say that after 13 years, I'm not worried anymore. I could walk through, I know typically it will be the same or better, right? So since I've got some of the view lines, I'm going to skim through them very quickly. I've been told that I have about 5 minutes more. 3 minutes now, thank you very much. So as you can see, all the various views. Anyway, all the sales consultants have the pictures, we can go through that with them. So again, we talk about Ikigai basically, all right? So Ikigai is actually the concept for, the behind Aura's development basically. And it's really just, finding the meaning and motivation each morning to wake up and to come home, I suppose. And so it permeates through all their design choices. It's interesting because you see a lot of buildings, there's only they say it's a Japanese influenced building and you've got a little bit of Japanese stuff at the front, but then this whole building really takes it to the nth degree, as you can see, right? So through their residences, their gardens, their amenities, and their wellness, all right? So again, today, right, we're really just going to take special interest on things like Luma Residences and Nova, basically, okay? So these are the buildings that we believe are good value right now, and offers Aura Gardens as well, which is the club. So we won't talk about the clubs too much now because we don't know which one gets which floors get which club basically. So this is the ground lobby. There will be two entrances, one for the slightly more premium ones and one for the rest. Still very impressive nevertheless. So you can see using a lot of natural influences, with stone, with marbles, and the premium one, they have a little bit of a nice water feature. And it just literally, the Japanese theme is really through and through. And the clubs as well. And this is the pool with the cold and spa as well. And this is the indoor pool. It has to be an indoor pool because if it's an outdoor pool, it is, in Melbourne, it's called a pond because no one will actually swim in that pool basically because it's too cold, all right? So really indoor pool is the way to go. So as you can see, a non-negotiables like, the studios, the Pilates, they're all here as well, the gymnasium entrance. Now all these are just like a work in progress for now, please. So the newer ones, there might be changes, so please take note now. So the Pilates machine. Okay, and then there's a games room with the billiard. Okay, and then this is the dining room. For if those are one bedrooms, you need a place to sort of entertain, right? You could always book the dining room. Okay, the private dining room. And then of course you have the music, theatre, cinema, and karaoke room. And again, you have the entertainment room. It's so Japanese. It's very neutral earth colors. It's very pleasing. It's very wabi-sabi basically, all right? So, yeah. And then there's tutor room, cinema and karaoke room, and then workspaces are non-negotiable these days. As you can see, very cool Japanese influences, with that beige, neutral earth colors as well, and conference room. Okay, and then the Aura Gardens. So very beautiful gardens as well. Everybody can enjoy these gardens. The key thing is actually number 6 is a tea room basically. So you can see the flora and the vegetation is all very Japanese inspired as well. Okay, and you can hang out there. And I don't know why, but something about tea room. The minute I look at this tea room, I just want to have green tea, basically, or eat sashimi or something like that. Okay, so it's just that's a tea room for you. So, and the Meridian Club, I hear you. I'm going to be done very soon. And then this is the club basically, and over here. So these are, I guess, a slightly more atas group will get the room where you have the whiskey room. Okay, and then you have the premium lounge. Dining room, and again, like I said, we'll talk more about this later with the consultants. And these are the indicative prices, basically. All right. Don't need to set photographs. We will show it to you later. Okay. And then 1 bedroom and plus NPR here. Okay. And then 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. You see, always dumbbell layout. So very good with that kind of layout, basically. Okay. Be it 2 bed, 1 bath, or 2 bed, 2 bath. It's all dumbbell layout. Okay. And then Nova residences. More types here. And then 3 beds, 2 baths. Okay. I'm going to skip this one because this one is mostly for own use. So I just want to do a little bit about investment performance. I think this is an important component, just to show you about the rental that we're collecting basically right now. So right now there are studios. So for the first time in Melbourne Square, right, we have studios. We never had studios before in stage 1, in stage 2. This is the first time. So 645 to 680 or 750 per week for studios now. Okay, so when it completes in 3 to 4 years time, right, it's definitely going to be more than this, right? So the studios, and then the 1 bedrooms are 700, 750, okay? And then of course when you have the multi-purpose room, it goes as high as 850, and then 2 bed, 1 bath is 850 to 950, 2 bed, 2 bath, it really getting up there, 900 to 1,100. And the vacancy rate is about less than 1%. I did check with ChatGPT yesterday about Singapore, it's about 6.5. Okay, I don't need to ChatGPT to know because I'm doing rental now, and now 租到年轻轻 basically trying to find a tenant over there is very fast. Okay, it is very, very fast to get a tenant. Right? I mean, you can call Andrew on that later. So 2 bed, 2 baths are 900 to 1,100. Okay, short-term stay. So we did like this weekend. How much does it cost to get a Melbourne Square apartment? $2,083 for 2 nights. So 1 night is $1,000. Okay, that's your Melbourne Square for you basically, all right? For this weekend, as we're speaking now, this weekend on 26th of January, okay? And then if you look at the one bedrooms, it's about 924 for 2 nights. So on average about 475 per night basically for short-term stay. All right. So generally, I'm just going to go straight to the gross return for 1 bed, 1 bath is 9.6. And 52 square meters is 9.4. Okay, for the 1 bedroom. And of course the 2 bedroom is 8.2 to 8.1. Really, it's quite impressive, and especially during all those sporting events or the concerts and all of that stuff basically. All right. So again, it's not like only that weekend is doing well. It has a 79% occupancy. 69% occupancy. Okay. And investment stats, the last one, I promise very fast. So the cost of building developments, right, is getting higher and higher, obviously. And we all know that the population in Melbourne is growing exponentially as well. So, what happens when, dwindling supply meets an incredible increasing growth? Obviously, there's a lot of potential here, basically. All right. So the population right now is about 5.2 million, and which increased by 168,000, in 2022 alone. Forecast to reach 6.5 million in 2034 from the Colliers Residential Research, basically. All right. And then this is the interesting one about annual completion. So I know some people have bought Melbourne properties, and they said that Melbourne properties capital growth hasn't been strong for a while. And you know what? I agree. I agree because during this period, there were all this glut of supply that came in, all right? But post-COVID, or COVID and post-COVID, the supply has come down, okay? We are now here. This is South End. We're here, okay? 2026, we contribute a little bit, I think Melbourne Square, that's it, all right? A boulevard rather. The next year, 2027, a bit more, okay? So this is where we are right now, all right? So this is a game changer, basically, all right? Okay, and then, the BTS, which is built to sell, not the Korean boy group, is this BTS over here. This is where we are as well, all right? So again, CKC is a very respected research company. They've also showed the number. This is the number, right? So what this means, right, is this is Hannon Todd White, which what they do is every month they always do this property clock. And I've been watching the clock for years and years and years. And they always say, a watched kettle never boils. So we are always here. We are always here. We are always here again. Finally, for the first time in December 2025, we are at the start of recovery. We are here, all right? I believe this heralded a new change, basically. For the last 13 years, I've seen the supply, and I also see the supply evaporated. I've seen the demand increase. We always tell our clients at the start, if you want to buy a property to flip, right, don't buy from us. This is not what we're about. We're about property growth, right, about 7 to 10 years. And we believe that this growth is coming. We believe a change of tide is happening. And we really think that it's a great time for you to get involved. The completion is in 2029. You only will pay 10% now. Nothing to pay until completion, basically. Of course, my team members will go into detail as well. But today is not about all of that. Today is just about getting an expression of interest, just putting your hand up, that's all. By saying, hey, I want to learn about this aura. I want to know which phasings are available, their pricing. And if possible, if there are enough UIs collected, can I get first dibs when the prices come out? And even buy a day or two before. This a day or two before and the prices is everything in this business, okay? Getting ahead of everybody else. Not coming in like 3 months later, 5 months later, when we try to sell you the unit and go like, oh, but all the phasing is, I don't like this phasing, or the prices have got too high. Like everything else coming in at the start is everything. And normally, we'll collect $2,000, where we'll say, put the EOI and the 2,000. But we've done well enough for me to go back to them. We don't want your money today. Okay, we just want you to fill out the form, just to say, put up your hand and go, yes, I want to be kept. First-hand information. That's all. Right? So no one's asking you to put any money. There is no money. All right? So I hope that helps you to make a clearer decision as well. So again, like I said, the Australian dollar has also lately come down, about 87 cents. Actually, it was 85 for very long. Now it's about 87. So good time to take advantage before things change as well. And then again, Aura offers all the combination of uninterrupted world-class park views and prime city heartbeat, basically. All right. So we believe 2026 belongs to Aura. Now this is my little disclaimer as well.